Hello, welcome to Flory Models Review Time. Skyraider, this is the AH1AD6 version, okay, 1/32 scale by Trumpeter. There is other versions of this kit available, but this is the first time I've had a look at this particular kit. Striking artwork on the front, as you can see, really nice. It's a very famous engagement. I think it's one of the few times a prop aircraft has shot down a MiG. Obviously it's what they're recreating here, but as you can see, that is beautiful artwork on that one. In fact, the box is so big, I think we have to really stretch the camera out to get that all in, but as you can see, absolutely lovely. So on the box itself, as you can see, a little bit about the detail. VA176, this is the butt number 1 of 135326. Striking, as I say, it's the Hornet one. I think everyone knows that one. It's probably the most famous marked one of all. Or down here you can do it as the A1H version, which is quite nice. So you've got two versions in the box, the Air Force version and the actual Navy version as well. And we're going to get some weapons, as we can see, a little bit of photo etch and things like that. So in this massive box we get a little, there we go, drop that, a bag stuffed full. Okay, right, I'm not going to rip through everything on this one, so we'll first of all have a hunt for the instructions, which are down the bottom. We'll have a look through this and then we'll have a look at the parts themselves. So with the old instructions as we see them here, just have that, we'll just pull the cameras down a little bit tighter. So as you can see, we've got the obligatory pull-outs, okay, which is for the weapons painting and the pods and everything else like that. And we've got the marking guide. So as you can see, we have the Air Force version on there, and I'm assuming, there she is, we've got the Navy one underneath. All right, quite a nice touch. We've got their usual blurb on what's coming out soon and everything else if we're interested. Just pull that. And we've got the actual ones itself. So as you can see, we just start over usual sprue tree call outs, working our way through, and then straight into it you're going to be building the engine, which is really nice. We've got good levels of detail by the looks of this one, going all in there right the way through. As you can see, a full-on engine all in there. Next across we move over, we're going to be working on the cockpit, so it looks like we've got some separate panels that are going to go over the top, sort of reminiscent of the Tamiya kit, and then obviously detailing up this cockpit area, as you can see down here, which is quite a nice little touch. We have got actual formers inside the actual aircraft itself, all right, and then moving around with the tail wheel area being fitted in and the canopy, so that's not going to take too long to all put in. Some more details then you're going to put in around the nose ring, some of these radiator areas and things on like that. So again, quite a nice touch, all of those details. I was hoping you can position this with the cowlings open, okay, and they are not just detachable ones, they are actually rodded as well to hold them in the open position. Looks like you've got open and shut cowl flaps on this one, and for the front ones as well, for the actual cooling system. Again, nice touch with this engine being shown all in the open position, as you can see. Positionable flaps as we'd expect, and rudder, certainly at this scale, coming all the way through. Quite a detailed, it looks like, main wheel well bay were going in there, so we've got formers on the wingtips and all things like that. Then we've even got guns being positioned inside as well for the actual main gun system, and they look to be quite nicely detailed in there. Positionable as we'd expect, flaps being put on, the actual gear going through, it's hubbed. I'm assuming the tyres are probably going to be rubber somewhere, which I know they're not to everybody's taste, but I don't actually find them that much of a problem. Speed brakes going on, lower fuselage wing set going on, bottom speed brake going on there again, and the hook prop being fixed on, and the outer wing area again with the gun going in now. Quite nice how you've got the gun shown and detailed. Okay, and then again exactly the same on the other side. Wings obviously going in the folded position. I'm assuming you can have them fixed, or you can have them fixed depending which way. Be interesting to know if you can actually do it so you can have both, i.e. just put in the actual rib ones for coming across, or in the folded position, because I think that'd be a lovely little detail if you could. Certainly I don't know, go out and get yourself a second wing set or something else. Certainly lots of pylons to be going on and sway braces to be fitted, as you can imagine, on this thing. And we're just generally talking about the actual weapons fit, as you can imagine, on this one. And certainly there's your weapons loadout of how you're going to want it. If you've ever seen this aircraft, you'll know that it's just tons of weapons. The only thing I haven't seen yet is the decals. I'm hoping they are in the box somewhere. So we just poke that out of the way. Oh, we're okay. Sorry, beginning to panic because I hadn't seen the decal sheet. So let's have a look at the decal sheet. Trumpeter decals. Sometimes they're brilliant, sometimes they're horrible. So we actually have the bomb markings, as you can see, the strips for them. If I was you, do as the way I show you about doing the banding to actually do the yellow marking. Far easier than using decals. Very thick they look like to me. And then certainly, as you say, anything with a shark's mouth gets my vote. But they look very, very nice, I must admit. They look a little bit thick. You can even feel them. And I don't know, they're not perfect, but on something of this scale, you weather it in and everything else, I think it'll be absolutely okay. I think you can get away with using these. They are just a little bit thick, a little bit heavy, shall we say, but generally not too bad at all. Right, let's start making our way through some of these bigger ones and seeing what we've got. So, first up, I'm going to need the blade. So this gives us an idea of what we're going to get. You might be able to see we've got very nice, very fine, extremely crisp detail panel lining. That is exquisite. That's very, very fine panel lining detail down in all of that one. And we've got raised as well. So you've got a mixture of raised and recessed, as you'd expect. Okay, under down here, which is quite nice, we've got no ejector pin marks in anywhere that cares, so that's really nice that we haven't got any in the top of the wing there set, so that's very good. Main fuselage itself looks like it's open. That's alright, the heat seal didn't heat seal that one. So main fuselage itself, now as you say, I haven't seen the other version. It seems to have a little bit of texture to it, but as you can probably see, catch it in the light, we've got very nice details all on this one, no problem with it at all. Okay, we've got the dive brakes, these are the inners and the outers. We've got a little bit of detail inside the cockpit wall area just down there, and the same on the other side, very limited, and a bit of the push down flap for the access for getting in and out just down there, but generally very, very nice. So anyway, down here in the old engine department, we seem to be pretty good. It's not the sharpest detailing on these engines, if we're honest, but it's not too bad at all. Obviously we've got all the plumbing, the leads, we've got this flower petal one for actually closing the intakes going in, the props themselves, nicely done, cowl flaps open or closed, nicely details on the inside. We've got no ejector pin marks in there, we've got no ejector pin marks in anything at all, and to be honest, this is ruining my job of doing reviews, because nowadays it's very rare the manufacturers will put ejector pin marks where they're in the way. I must admit, luckily for us, they've listened to us over the years now as modelers and complained about it, and they don't tend to put them in areas which bother us anymore, which is really nice to see. So, wing set, as you can see, this is the lower ones you see at the top here. Very nicely done. Again, the actual texture is quite rough, but you're going to do it flat, won't matter anyway. But you might be able to see this level of riveting and the actual panel lining, absolutely lovely. Alright, it loses it when you get right to the edge, but then whose doesn't? Okay, but again, all of these little details, the wiring details that we've got going on down here, things like that, absolutely fantastic. And even the pylons are very nicely detailed. Can't see any real problems with those at all. They really are looking very, very nice. Again, the inside, so we don't have ejector pins anywhere that matters for the insides for these gun pods and everything else, so that's absolutely lovely. And if we look at the top side, so this is the tops of those wings with the actual doors open, as you can see it down here. Again, so this is basically a mirror of the other one, but obviously down here we've got the the upper wings, and hopefully you can see that detail. It's absolutely lovely. This is probably the finest I've seen Trumpeter do, if I'm honest, to date. Certainly on a 32nd scale, I've never seen recessed panel lining that good. Okay, so some of the smaller bits. Let's see what they get like in as we go down in scale. So we've got various parts for the engine here and all the little parts. They seem to be tiniest little bit of flash, but you know, we can clean that up pretty easy, no problem at all. But generally the detail seems to be of medium. It's not as sharp perhaps as I was hoping for, but certainly I don't think you'd have a problem with it at all. It will work and give you a very nice level of detail. All the riveting seems to work all the way around. It all seems very even. But all of these parts, hopefully you can see them as we work our way around, they're going to build up to make a fantastic looking kit. So this looks like interior parts. So down here again, we've got a bulkhead here. Again, lovely work. We've got recessed panel lining going down here. We've got riveting all going on. Absolutely lovely. Really, really nice work on all of that. Hopefully you catch it all in the light. But again, a lot of this work in here is absolutely beautifully done. Very, very nice. So we've got a good mix of raised and recessed detailing going down there and everything else. So all the ejecting pin marks are sunk, none of them are raised, so that's nice. Looking to be a lovely looking kit, if we're honest. So, next up, got some of the bigger pylons. Okay, we've got some of the gear here, which is always nice to look at. Doesn't look too bad at all. Nice level of detail. Pretty sharp, it's not particularly soft moulded, it's quite nice in there. I think by the time you perhaps liven it up, a little bit of wiring for some brake lines, things like that, would be absolutely fantastic. And again, I'm not sure about these doors. I'm assuming, or I'm hoping, these holes in these are supposed to be here. Okay, and what they've done cleverly, this is what I'm hoping, they've actually used those as ejector pin push-out marks. So I'm hoping they're okay, and they should be like that. But as I say, don't know the aircraft exactly brilliantly well. I'm just hoping that they are, because if they are, it's cleverly done. If they're not, they're horrible and really deep. But they're so deep, I assume they're supposed to be part of it. We're not going to bother getting all of these out, but you can probably see in there we've got some very nice level of detail, recessing, and we've got recessed riveting detail, absolutely lovely. And again in here, as you can see, we've got a lot of this former framework, again pretty standard, as you can see it straight off of the bag, looking pretty good down there. And then what have we got down here? This is the wheels. So down in here, the famous toilet. No matter how many times you build this kit, you always end up with a crapper on it. Those of you who don't know, basically the peace medals were strapped to it, and the commanding officer dropped them on North Vietnam after the peace treaty all fell through, things like that. It's been written and read about and everything a million times before, and you tend to get it in every Skyraider kit. It's still very funny, and if you don't know it, please go and read up on it, because it is pretty good. Wheel hubs, as you can see, we've got all the different wheel hubs in there, things like that, all the little bits. So we've got ammo belts just down in here, and working your way around, generally very nice. The sway braces look quite nice, so they'll be okay painted up and used. This will just be a mirror of the other one, which will fit just like that on top. And then you will get, and I'm not going to get all these out, lots of weapon packs. So we've got duals of both of those, and we've got fuel tanks and the bigger bombs as well, again jeweled up, all as you can see in there. Then we get a nice little box, okay, into it, and then in here, as expected, we have our rubber wheels, okay, and to be honest, you have got a huge great seam line down in the middle, which you're going to have to sand out, but it has got a little bit of tread and the little rubber ring, which is the tail wheel. Then we get a very nice photo etched set. So we've got basically harnesses and grills, a couple of buckles, which is quite a nice touch because you don't have to use it with a belt if you didn't want to, and a couple of the little bits in there. And then we get a couple of bags, which will be our clear parts, which which as we go in we'll just try and peel these apart. So down in here we have our clear parts, and as you can see they are lovely and clear. We've got minimal distortion when you look at it on the flap. These clear ones here go on the sides. As I say, I don't know if they're technically going to be clear in there or what. Anyway, instrument panel, as you can see it's clear, so that's quite nice. You can decal behind it, it gives you the glass effect looking through. We've got the lights again, which are quite nice going for the wings. And we've got a couple of other little ones on there. All looks to be very nice. We've got no webbing, no problem with any of those clear parts whatsoever. And then hopefully this will be the canopy. Let's say if it's not, we're in trouble. Okay, and then not even on a sprue. So we have got a centre line seam running right the way down the middle of this. As I say, sorry about the lights, but we're filming this in the dark. And as you can probably see when you run it over, it's not too bad. You know, it's got a little bit of moulding in there. Generally, it's not too bad on thickness and everything else. I'm quite happy with that. Seems to be nice and clear. As I say, take out that centre seam and it'll be absolutely fine. Very nice touch, as I always say, but I'll repeat myself, of having it in a little clear, all the parts done with a little bit of foam. Just stops them getting scratched and damaged as they go in and things like that. So there we go. Well, I suppose we have to compare it, don't we, with the Zucchimori kits, which I have one up there, which is something like £250. Then you need the weapon set for it. Then you need the photo etch bits and everything. So really you're getting up to around about £275 in the UK. Yes, they are cheaper now. They've come down in price, but at the time that's the price you would pay if you want one. What do you get that's different? Okay, the level of detail on the Zucchimori one is a little bit better. There's no denying that. But that comes at a price. Now, this particular kit, just checking on this one, is £75. Okay, so £75, or you can pay £250. I know which one I would do in a heartbeat. I can't see any problem with this kit whatsoever. Assuming it goes together perfectly, you will end up with a level of detail sat on your bench or on your display shelf or whatever, exactly the same as the Zucchimori kit, but as you said, for literally, you know, less than half the price. You no doubt the aftermarket guys will jump on this one and they will come along with all aftermarket stuff, as you can imagine. So you could still spend another £50 on aftermarket stuff and then have it on a par with the Zucchimori for still only paying, as you said, what, £125? So you're still bang on budget, and it's going to save you a lot of money and everything else, because let's face it, as I reviewed it before, the Zucchimori kit, most of those exquisite, perfectly done, amazing details you will never see once it's built, so I can't see the point. If I was going to build a Skyraider, to be honest, I'd probably build this one over the Zucchimori, if I'm honest. It's not me being cheap, it's just that those level of details, which you're going to have to do because you've paid for them, you're not going to see in the finished thing. So I'd rather put the time in of building a kit which looks great on the display shelf and everything else. So I would go with the Trumpeter kit every single time.